Hello, it's time to noontime prayer. I brought the adult Bible study guide of second quarter of 2025. It titled Illusions, Images, Symbols, and How to Study the Bible Prophecy. Yeah, it has 13 lessons here. The contents we're gonna start the lesson 6. Yeah. The lesson one, some principles of prophecy. Two, the Genesis foundation. Three, images from marriage. Four, the nations part one and nations part two. And six, understanding sacrifices. Seven, foundations for prophecy. Eight, in the Psalms part one and part two. And 10, upon whom the ends have come. 11, Ruth and Esther. 12, precursors. 13, images of the end. And we're gonna go to lesson 6. Yeah, understanding sacrifice. So read for this week's study Isaiah 1, 2 through 15, and Hebrews 10, 3 through 10, Exodus 12, 1 through 11, 1 Corinthians 5 to 7, Haggai 2, 7 through 9, Isaiah 6, 1 through 5, Revelation 4, 5 through 11. Yeah, memory text comes from the Revelation 5, 9. And they sang a new song saying, "You are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seals, for you were slain and have redeemed us to God by your blood out of every tribe and tongue and people and nation." So when Jesus came toward him, John the Baptist declared, "Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." John 1:29. This was an unmistakable reference to the idea of animal sacrifice, all of which pointed to Christ's substitutionary death in behalf of our humanity. In the Bible, we cannot escape the theme of animal sacrifice. It runs like a scarlet thread throughout its page and plays a central role in the grand scene in Revelation, where John is escorted into God's throne room. Revelation 4 and 5. The fact that Jesus appears in this pivotal scene looking like a slain lamb, Revelation 5, 6, is an important key to understanding the entire prophetic episode. This week we will look at some of the themes of sacrifice that inform our understanding of Jesus, the slain lamb, the clear protagonist protagonist of the throne room scene. He is accepted as worthy where no one else is, and his unique worthiness speaks volumes about what the Lord was doing through the sacrificial system. It reveals him as a God of infinite love who made the ultimate sacrifice, an act that we and the other intelligence in the universe will marvel at for eternity. And Sunday part, the fertile sacrifice. Sometimes contrasting two ideas can be very instructive. Much can be learned about the nature of sacrifice in the biblical perspective from when God actually rejected the sacrifice of his people. Compare Isaiah 1, 2 through 15 with Isaiah 56, 6 and 7 and Psalm 51, 17. What important lessons about sacrifice are taught here. This tragic episode in Israel's history was not the first time that God rejected the sacrifice. Something similar happened near the beginning of salvation history when Abel's sacrifice was approved and acknowledged by God, and Cain's was not. That early episode gives us another opportunity to contrast acceptable and unacceptable sacrifices. See Genesis 4, 3 through 7 and Hebrews 11:4. In Isaiah's time, Israel was going through the motions, mentally checking off religious boxes in a minimal attempt to appease God, or while living as they pleased. Their sacrifices were anchored in self, just as Cain's were, and not in an attitude of surrender and submission to God. It is the same spirit that animates the kingdom of this world, the spirit of self-sufficiency. Cain would live as he pleased and render mere ritual to God on his own terms. One can only assume that he viewed God as an inconvenience, a roadblock to setting his own course, but he feared God just enough to go through the motions. Abel, however, offered the sacrifice God had requested, the sacrifice that exhibited the promise God had made of a coming Messiah. Genesis 3:15, a lamb pointing forward to the saving act of Christ at Calvary. Abel grasped the great principles of redemption. He saw himself a sinner, and he saw his sin and its penalty, that's standing between his soul and